Welcome, boys and girls, to your punctuation review lesson. Today we are talking about quotation marks and apostrophes. Your I can statement is I can. Punctuate a sentence so it makes more sense by using quotation marks and apostrophes. Here are quotation marks. Here is an apostrophe. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. This quote is attributed to Mr. Walt Disney, one of my personal heroes. Why is it a quote? Because he actually said it, either to someone who was listening or to a reporter who recorded it, but either way, these words came out of his mouth and therefore they are a quote. If you were to tell me, well, my mother said, that would be a quote, whatever it was your mother said. If you were to write that down in a story, you would be required to use quotation marks, because then I would know that someone actually said it. So what is a quote? A quote is something someone has said with their voice so it can be heard. But what are quotation marks? Quotation marks are the marks we use to help a reader know exactly what is said and who said it. You make the mark by placing two commas next to each other along the top line of the sentence before and after the quote. What do you call a rabbit with fleas? Asked Mrs. Pirelli. Bugs Bunny, answered the students. These sentences do not have punctuation. So let's add some quotation and some punctuation. What do you call a rabbit with fleas? Asked Mrs. Pirelli. Exactly what I said was, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? I did not say, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? Asked Mrs. Pirelli. So the quotation marks go just around, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? I also end this quote with a question mark because the sentence is a question. When you are using quotes, you can end a quote with a question mark, an exclamation point, or a comma. The only thing we don't end it with is a period, unless the quote is at the end of the sentence. Here is our period. Bugs Bunny, yelled the students. Bugs Bunny was what the students yelled. They didn't yelled the students. So the quote is around Bugs and Bunny. And again, here I ended it with an exclamation point because it is a sentence. It is excited, and therefore it was appropriate. I also want to teach you about apostrophes, where a quotation mark are two commas at the top of the line. An apostrophe is one comma. So what is an apostrophe? It is a comma placed at the top of the sentence line. What is an apostrophe used for? To show possession, like the king's book, or to mark a contraction. Isn't is the same as is not, but we use an apostrophe to take the place of the O. The apostrophe helps us see the difference between a word being plural, or more than one, and a word showing possession. To our ear, they sound exactly the same. The apostrophe is the visual clue between the two. The rabbit plays hopscotch by herself. The word rabbit is singular. There's only one rabbit, and she's playing hopscotch by herself. The rabbits hopscotch in the rain. The rabbits hopscotch in the rain. This is indicating that rabbits is plural, so there is more than one rabbit that is playing. The rabbits hopscotch game got wet. Rabbits here and rabbits here sounds exactly the same. But the apostrophe here lets me know that this rabbit is singular and her hopscotch game got wet. Now let's look at contractions. Contractions allow us to shorten words to save space or time by dropping letters and replacing the dropped letters with an apostrophe. Do not becomes drop the O and add the apostrophe, don't. We dropped this O and added the apostrophe. It is, drop the I and add the apostrophe, becomes it's. Here's the I, it's been dropped, but we take the apostrophe takes its place. That will, drop the WI and add the apostrophe, that'll, the apostrophe takes the place of the WI. That will becomes that'll. That'll really hurt. That will really hurt. The cat has a dish. It's the cat's dish. This is a possessive apostrophe. The cat owns the dish. I cannot go with you. I can't go with you. This is a contraction. I am visiting the house Charlie lives in. I am visiting Charlie's house. Possessive. Charlie owns the house. Let us try these examples. Let's try these examples. A contraction. It's the same apostrophe in the same location at the top of the line, but used for two different reasons. Possessive or contraction. So in summary, you've learned you can punctuate a sentence so it makes more sense by using quotation marks and apostrophes. This is a picture of today's work. It is a Google Slide assignment. You're going to type, here are the instructions on either side, and you're going to type right in these text boxes that I've set up. What I wanted to point to your attention is this magnifying glass here. If you click on this drop-down arrow, you can enlarge your work so that you can see it better. It will ask you 50%, I think 100%, maybe even 200%. Don't play too much. You don't want to damage your work. But if you felt you needed your work to be a little bit bigger, you can use this magnifying glass.